Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This for educating, commenting, and criticism purposes. Now I'm coming back in with this breaking news. I wasn't gonna come in, uh, but I need to bring you out this news about Kada Scott. It is true, and it has been confirmed that that was Kada that they found behind the school, but she was buried under the ground. So, y'all, I want y'all to listen to this, okay? Because now we don't found out that a girl that is involved, she's not involved, but she was a friend of Keon, and she knew Kata's sister. Don't forget Kata older than these girls. So the girl is gonna explain to y'all herself, because she's kind of like scared.
We begin with breaking news in Philadelphia, where law enforcement sources tell Fox 29 a DNA test confirms the body found Saturday morning in East Germantown belongs to 23-year-old Kada Scott. This is the 10 o'clock news. I'm Jennifer Lee. Kada was last seen on October 4th after arriving for an overnight shift at a senior living facility. Let's go out to Kelly Rule live at police headquarters tonight with the details on this devastating update. And Kelly, what are your sources telling you?
Well, Jennifer, law enforcement sources tell me tonight that anonymous tip that led to Saturday's search was someone telling police to please go back to the former Ada Lewis Middle School, asking them to search for Kada again. And this time they gave a specific location in a wooded area behind the school. Sources also tell me the man in custody for Kada's alleged kidnapping, 21-year-old Keon King, is expected to be charged with additional crimes this week. A tragic update in the disappearance of 23-year-old Kada Scott. Tonight, law enforcement sources telling Fox 29 that a DNA test of a body found Saturday morning in East Germantown confirms that the remains belong to Kada. Sources say the test showed a 99.9% match to DNA collected from Kada's parents. Tonight, we're also learning more about that anonymous tip that led investigators back to the area behind the former Ada Lewis Middle School Saturday morning, an area previously searched by police. That tipster, according to sources, asked police to please go back, saying they missed her, and gave a specific location in a wooded area behind the vacant school. When officers went back, an officer reportedly stepped on newly disturbed dirt, where they eventually found a body in a shallow grave. Kada's debit card and phone case were found in a different area by the school in the previous search. Kada went missing the night of October 4th after arriving for her overnight shift at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, a senior living facility in East Mount Airy. Her car was left in the parking lot, but personal items like her phone and keys were missing. More than a week later, officials announced charges against 21-year-old Keon King for kidnapping, false imprisonment, and stalking in connection with Kada's disappearance. Investigators believe King was the last person to see her the night she disappeared. The district attorney says a previous kidnapping and assault case involving King, which was dismissed when a key witness failed to appear, was refiled. Sources tell Fox 29 King is expected to be charged with additional crimes
Yeah.
this week, including stolen car charges and arson. And again, this is very
Now,
much an active and ongoing
what I
investigation.
want to show y'all now, I got to come shout out to my highway patrol gang. I see y'all on Friday. But look, y'all, listen to this girl right here. This girl knew the boy in the black jacket named Keon. I'm not gonna even tell y'all what she said. I'm gonna let her tell y'all what she said. Cause she said she don't call the police. Mm-mm-mm. But we got a missing girl, but she said she don't call the police. Okay, listen to this.
At the time in my head, I'm thinking that there was no reason to call the cops. He already turned himself in, and I felt like it would be kind of a waste of time to tell them that the guy that they already have in custody, called me and was asking about the girl. And me personally, I'm not a cop caller. Like I don't call the cops. That's just the way that I grew up. That's what I was around. They will always tell me, you don't call the cops. So I just felt like, the information that I had and the fact that, I'm just not really a cop caller, it wouldn't make sense for me to call the cops. So then my best friend tells me, well, if you won't call the cops and tell them, then I will. And then she basically tells me that she doesn't want to be friends with me anymore because I won't call the cops. And I told her, that's completely fine. I just don't want any involvement. So then we hung up the phone, and then I believe she called me again with the police on the other line. So you can see, I told her, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to the cops. And yeah, now I can't see how this could be cool, and I do take accountability for that. So then a couple of days later after that,
Hold
I
up,
get
y'all. We got a missing person here. And she says she's not going to call the cops. I can't even tell y'all. I can't. She need to hurry up and talk. Because I sure want to tell y'all.
sent a link on Instagram, and the link was basically my best friend going live, just talking about the situation, saying how I was weird for not going to the cops, and people in the comments were just coming up with their own narratives about the story, and it just got way
Excuse
out of
me.
hand, and it just spiraled. So you can see somebody sent me the link of the live, and still to this day, I have not watched the full entire live. Then people just started asking, who is Gabby? What's the connection? And, she told people that I was in Maryland for school, and it was just a whole entire thing. So, of course, I was angry and I was confused because what is going on? So I text her, I tell her that, that was weird. And yeah, then I started seeing posts of people saying that they think that I set Kada up and that why wouldn't I go to the cops and that I was just suspicious and all of this stuff. And this was never the case. So I do stuff about me and the situation.
No, no,
Like
no,
the
no,
mom.
no, no. You got to tell them everything. Hold up, y'all. Let me go back. She gave Kada, she know Kada's sister. She a young girl. She knows Kada Scott's sister. She and Kada's, okay, Kada Scott's sister, all of them know each other because they know. Y'all, sister, because they the same around the same age. She gave Keon Kada's address. She said, oh, yeah, I know Kada. You don't get nobody address out, y'all. If you're watching this, don't get nobody address out unless you call and ask them to give that permission. She stayed behind Kada, but she was claimed that she was in Maryland at the time. So she told Keon where Kayla lives. So I'm surprised that part didn't come up. Hold on, y'all.
Hi, my name is Gabby, and I'm going to be discussing some of the misinformations that are going around in the internet regarding me and the Kada Scott situation. So, if you are unaware, Kada Scott is a girl that went missing in Philadelphia on October 4th. So, I did know Keon. He was my friend. I met him about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was also the local pharmacist. Now, me and my best friend, we were also mutual friends with Keon. He was our pharmacist. So one day Keon calls me, and keep in mind I am in school, I am in Maryland, and he will usually just call me, just to check up and talk. So he calls me and he asks me if I know Kada. And I'm like, yeah, like I know Kada. And he's like, oh yeah, I noticed that she lives really close to you. I'm like, yeah, like she lived right in the back of me. And I'm not thinking nothing
Wow.
of it because he usually calls me and, we just be chatting. He'll call me
So
about
he slick and asked her about Kada. I don't know did they set her up or what, but she just told y'all that. So oh, yeah, I know Kada. She stay right behind me. And she even noticed that Kada walk her dog. So to me, it's I don't want to put out the wrong information that she kind of like helped him out a little bit, but she even looked at her. She even watching Kada. So I wonder if she gonna get arrested. I don't know.
Like, you know, the people that be around, because he is the pharmacist. I live in the neighborhood and he be in my neighborhood. So we hang up the phone and that was that. We were only on the phone for 29 seconds. So you can see that this is the day that he called me and this was before Kada went missing. And we were only on the phone for 29 seconds. Also, I know that his name says Elliot in my phone. That's just what we call him. So a couple of days after that, my best friend calls me, and we're just talking about life. And I mentioned to her how Keon brought up Kada to me. I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm like, oh yeah, like he was probably trying to flirt with her. He's probably trying to get at her. Mind you, me and my best friend, we know Kada because we grew up with her little sister. Now, we didn't know Kada personally because, again, we grew up with her little sister. We were around 12, 11 years old. Kada, she was much older than us, so we didn't really talk to her. So my best friend was like, oh yeah, like he probably thought she was cute, and that was that. So right here is the day that I called my best friend and told her that, Keon was trying to get at Kada. This is before she went missing. So a couple days, maybe a week after that, it is reported on October 4th that Kada is missing. So keep in mind, I am in Maryland, so I'm not really into all the Philadelphia news that be going on. So I'm not knowing that Kada is missing until my best friend sends me a text and says that Kada is missing. So this is the day that my best friend tells me that Kada is missing on October 9th. So I'm in my friend's dorm and I call Keon and it's a lot of music and a lot going on in the background. So I go somewhere that's quiet and I tell him, Keon, Kada is missing. Like that girl, she's missing. So he was like, what? And then after that, the phone just hung up. So here you can see that I called Keon and we were on the phone for 2 minutes. So you have to keep in mind, this was my friend, okay? I did not think that he could be capable of anything like this. In my head, I'm just thinking, there's no way in the world he could have did something like this. There's no way in the world.
Excuse me.
So then a couple of days after that, my mom sends me a screenshot of Keon turning himself in for the kidnapping of Kada. So this is my mom sending me the article, and she was distraught to say the least. And I know she said that he was a random person, but she says this about all my friends. So me and my best friend, we get on the phone and we're talking about the situation. We're just saying how this is just crazy. This is the call of me and her talking about it. Now, this is all happening around the time that I'm taking my midterms. So I'm really just trying to keep my head on the books. And I wasn't really trying to let this stress me out. So I kind of just let it go. He turned himself in. It's not really much to say or do anymore. So a couple of days after that, me and my best friend get on the phone and we're basically just, talking about the Kada situation. And she says that she thinks that I should call the cops. So she was basically saying that she thinks that I should call the cops and tell them that Keon was, asking about Kada. Now, at the time in my head, I'm thinking that there was no reason to call the cops. He already turned himself in, and I felt like it would be kind of a waste of time to tell them that the guy that they already have in custody, called me and was asking about the girl. And me personally, I'm not a cop caller. Like I don't call the cops. That's just the way that I grew up. That's what I was around. They will always tell me, you don't call the cops. So I just felt like, the information that I had and the fact that, I'm just not really a cop caller.
Girl, they was little lady. They was looking for a missing girl at that time. And you talking about you don't call the cop? Oh boy.
It wouldn't make sense for me to call the cops. So then my best friend tells me, well, if you won't call the cops and tell them, then I will. And then she basically tells me that she doesn't want to be friends with me anymore because I won't call the cops. And I told her, that's completely fine. I just don't want any involvement. So then we hung up the phone, and then I believe she called me again with the police on the other. So you can see, I told her, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to the cops. And yeah, now I can't see how this could be cruel, and I do take accountability for that. So then a couple of days later after that, I get sent a link on Instagram, and the link was basically my best friend going live, just talking about the situation, saying how I was weird for not going to the cops, and people in the comments were just coming up with their own narratives about the story, and it just got way out of hand, and it just spiraled. So you can see somebody sent me the link of the live, and still to this day, I have not watched the full entire live. Then people just started asking, who is Gabby? What's the connection? And, she told people that I was in Maryland for school, and it was just a whole entire thing. So, of course, I was angry and I was confused because what is going on? So I text her, I tell her that, that was weird. And yeah, then I started seeing posts of people saying that they think that I set Kada up and that why wouldn't I go to the cops and that I was just
Well,
suspicious
first
and
of
all this.
all, you gave Keon her address, and you shouldn't have did that. You don't get nobody address out, so you should have went to the cops. Jesus.
And this was never the case. So I do end up contacting the authorities after I seen people just making up crazy stuff about me and the situation. They cut me off. They tell me that they already know what's going on, that they have a close eye on the social media. And they also tell me that my friend did come forth with the information and they told her that there was nothing that they can do, that the information that she brought them was useless information because they already had Keon in custody and it was just nothing for them to do with this information. They told me to contact them only if I had anything that could lead to finding Kada because that is their main priority.
But
Now, I do
yeah, you
believe
could have saved Kata if you had to gave them your information at first when you knew they was looking for Kata. Then this could have helped the problem. But you didn't even call the police.
that the person in the live was just kind of taking what I told her and
Come on, thank God, jeez.
running with it and just spicing it up to make it seem like something that it wasn't for, I don't know, maybe views. People were saying that, she was walking around and showing what stores Kada would go to, where she would walk her dog, and just stuff like that. I also had one of our mutual friends come to me and he told me that she told him that we knew Kada our whole lives and like we grew up with her, which wasn't the case because we grew up with her little sister. Now, I do think that
So
the
you
person.
grew up with Kata, little sister. So y'all little girls was jealous. That's what it sounds like. Y'all jealous of a 23-year-old.
Live was taking what I told them and kind of just running with it and spicing it up to make it seem like it was way bigger than what it was. And I basically think this because I had a mutual friend that came to me and said that she came to them and told them that we knew Kada our whole life and that we grew up with Kada when that wasn't the case. We grew up with her little sister. My prayers go out to Kada and her family, and I hope that she can make a safe return home.
Wow. Now look, y'all, let me let y'all hear what Kata auntie said.
Gabby is best friends with Keon. Keon is, I
Auntie.
mean, the perp. Gabby, Gabby is best friends with him. So everybody's like, "Breezy, you was right. It was a light skin profile because what happened
Okay,
was
let
my
me tell y'all what's going on with this situation. The auntie explaining to you all about the girl named Gabby, who said that she was Kada little friend. They grew up around Kata's sister. Now this is her auntie, the spiritual leader, reader, advisor, whatever.
it's two girls. They have on blue t-shirts, and one is light skinned, high yellow with two braids in her head. And she looks at me and it's another girl. She's not as light as her, but she was in the light. She's like my complexion. So she turns her head. So I'm like,
they was demonic though. So I'm like, why is she looking at me? Why is they looking at me like this? But this is a vision, like right here. So I've been saying this a long time as well. And then next thing you know, Gabby comes up. Now, Gabby is the girl that they went down Southwest Philadelphia to the house because of Kada phone pinged in the park. Once it pinged in the park, it pinged to Southwest Philadelphia. So the house that they pinged it to was where Gabriella was at. So Gabriella said she didn't know Kada. Then she lied and said she didn't know Kada because she was getting pressured. So next thing you know, the phone was pinged back. Oh, fuck, another thing just came. She was pinged back. Thank you, Spirit. I love you, Spirit. I swear I love you. Woo, I love my tribe and my ancestors for what they do. All right, so that was a moment. So whatever the case is, she was pinged back to the phone in the area of Ada Lewis School. It was pinged back to Ada Lewis School based upon that's where they originally was at when she showed me that she was there. So when that call said help, she was letting me know I was close. She was letting me know like you here. Breezy, Breezy, whatever the fuck you want to say. All right, baby, I'm sorry. She was like, it was like she was here. So, next thing you know, after that happened, everybody was like, we need to go to the, certain places. So as I'm watching the news, I'm like, wait, white van. I'm like, oh, that go the white truck I was talking about. His car, the gray car was sitting across the street, and that go the white truck. Somebody found his Instagram, same car before it got crashed up. So we know it's him. Moving along, not to bounce all over the place. So Gabby is best friends with him. Now, it was a little girl on TikTok that everybody worked to my attention when she was talking about him and how she knew him. Now, her best friend is the girl who gave me the info. And she lied to me because she didn't know. She told me she didn't know him before. But apparently the girl was on there talking about Kada, how she walks her dog and, things like that. And they, all above. So that's stalker. That's a stalker. I said, she was jealous. I said, she was having fucking Keon. I said, and she knew what Keon was about to do to Kada. Because Keon asked her, because Keon asked her, where do Kada live at? Where does she work at? And all the above. Now, he knew Kada already. It's not a mystery he didn't know Kada. He definitely knows Kada. I want y'all to understand, it was never that he was a stranger to Kada. He knew Kada. He knew who Kada was, a person. Kada knew him as a person. But it was not supposed to go to this level because Kada was not in a relationship with him. She was in a relationship with somebody else. Please, she was not getting up here. She was in a relationship with somebody else. So with that being said, as she was in a relationship with somebody else, let me get the downloads because I don't want to be all over the place. And my downloads, that's what they do. All right, so earlier we was talking about it. The girl that gave me the jewels, she told her best friend that was talking about Kada on live, she needs to call the police and tell the police what she knows. The girl was like, I'm not telling anybody anything. So apparently the girl said that Keon told Gabby that what he did with Kada and don't tell nobody where Kada was, asking about where Kada at and where she lived at and where she worked at. Because Kim didn't play that, nobody know where she lived at. So that's how I know for a fact he didn't know where she lived at. So the girl told, and Gabby promised not to say nothing about what he did to Kada. So Gabby goes to school in Maryland. So the girl was talking about that. Y'all had to go see her live with the TikTok. Some people saved it. I don't know. Hey. Hold on. Khalil.
Well, that's all the auntie had. That's all the auntie had at the moment. Let me see. Did she have anything else? Yeah, that's her aunt. Her aunt is a spiritual reader. I think that's all she had. Wow, this crazy, ain't it, y'all? This all y'all I had to bring in to y'all. You know I got to bring y'all the news. Let me take this.
Right now we're outside the Philadelphia Medical.
Gabby is best friends with Keon.
Okay, we already know that. Okay, y'all thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Anything else new about this case, I will tell y'all. Okay, I'm out, y'all.